Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian, and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here, the capital city of the province of British Columbia, western side of Canada, or the west coast, if you will. Welcome, Angel. Hi, Kyber. Hi, Ramneek. Welcome, Simran. Nice to see many students in the class. Welcome to our moderator, Carolina. Good to have you in here. Helping us keep everybody focused and on topic. All right, everyone. In this class, we are looking at IELTS Speaking Part 3. We're going to build up some good flow and go for that Band 9. So flow and go Band 9. This material is presented to you by aehelp.com for academic IELTS success. Visit us there for the general IELTS. Check us out at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com. On both of those websites, we have lots and lots of materials to help you improve your language, vocabulary, grammar, as well as your communication. While we wait for some of your peers, the websites look like this. This is aehelp.com with the blue background. You can click this big red button to join our premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and it doesn't cost very much, so it's a great investment of your money. And we are an official British Council IELTS Test Registration Center and certified agents. So you are in very good hands with us. For general IELTS, same idea, green background. Click that big red button to join the premium package there. Arda, that sounds great, yeah. Make sure to follow either the 30 or the 60-day study plan that's included in your package when you purchase it. Okay, everybody, if you have any questions, send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com and I will get back to you in due time. Thank you, Ois, for the belated birthday. I appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Been getting these birthday wishes all week, and it's really making my week very, very sunny and happy. All right. So we have the Speaking Part 3 class right now, and then tomorrow, Monday, Tuesday, we have a little bit of a break. And I'm back on the 21st with another week of lessons. This schedule will be on our YouTube community board, as well as in our on our Instagram. So you can check it out there. Make sure that you're keeping up. All right, let's get into speaking now. Today is Speaking Part 3. However, Speaking Part 3 relies on Speaking Part 2. So we did Speaking Part 2, the cue card, yesterday, and I know many of you were in that class, and the topic was talk about a tool that you use to fix something that's broken. So let's just review the question and the answer of Speaking Part 2, and then we'll go right into Speaking Part 3. So this is a speaking class, so make sure to speak and repeat. That's very, very important. All right. So yesterday's cue card went like this. Talk about a tool you use to fix something broken. What is this tool? How do you use it? What did you repair with it? How does this tool and the item you fixed help you? You will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk about this topic. You will have 1 minute to prepare what you are going to say. And then we talked about super glue, and super glue was a really good answer. A couple of you came up with that. And here was our answer. This is speaking, everyone, so make sure to speak and repeat. So copy what I say here. Okay, get focused, everyone. All right, here we go. So a really useful tool that I have to fix broken items around the home is a tube of Uhu all-purpose super glue. To be more specific, this is a small yellow tube of very strong adhesive, about 3 centimeters in length, containing about 3 milliliters of glue. It has a long needle nose for precision application and a screw-on cap to keep it from drying out. Super glue is used to stick broken pieces back together or potentially to build a bigger structure from smaller pieces when doing arts and crafts. I can buy super glue from many different retailers such as hardware stores, gas stations, stationery stores, and supermarkets. I think it is readily available because it is so useful and people often require it to fix broken items. It usually sells for about $1.50 a tube. The recommended way to use super glue is to wear gloves for protection, squeeze a small amount of transparent fluid or gel onto the side of the broken surface. It can be wood, glass, even metal. And then hold the two pieces firmly together for about 30 seconds until the glue sets. Of course, avoid getting it on hands or in the eyes or mouth. Most recently, super glue came in really handy to fix my broken sunglasses. I had accidentally sat on my sunglasses while getting into my car and broke the frame. Fortunately, I was able to fix it quickly with super glue, and then I could use them to keep the sun and UV rays out of my eyes, and I drove safely and in comfort. Having this super glue saved me about $100, not having to replace my sunnies, and of course, time as well, not having to go to the store. Okay, Adrian, your time is up. I will stop you there. And now I will ask you some questions related to your response and related to the topic of part 2. Let's begin part 3. Okay, so let's think about some follow-up questions. So the IELTS examiner will be thinking about 1 or 2 questions to ask in relation to your response. What do you think might be some questions that the examiner can ask you if you gave the examiner this response? Vyom Patel, hand gestures, body language, keeping an open body language or frame is very important for fluency and emphasis. So yes, you're right. Using body language is a good idea in the IELTS exam, using your hands to communicate. UV, anything that is used to fix or repair items could be considered a tool. A tool is any item that's used to develop, to fix, to repair, to build, certainly, okay? Okay, Arta says a question would be, would you recommend using this super glue to friends? Okay, sure. Arta, that's good. Yeah, very possible. Could be a good question. So, question 1 might be something like, would you recommend this kind of super glue to use for friends? Sure. Could be a question. Jasper, you're very kind. You're making me blush. All right. Naomi is asking, can I use some formal expressions while speaking, like miss or mister? You can, but it's not necessary, okay? You're on level with the examiner. Okay, Kyber, very good. So Kyber says, what would you do if super glue were not available? What other tool could you use? Okay, very good. So I like that question, Kyber. Very good. So what would you do if super glue were unavailable what would you use? Okay. So you reminded me of a very funny story, Kyber, that happened to me when I was in Las Vegas with my wife. All right. So answer this question, students. Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So what would you do if super glue were unavailable, what would you use? Specifically, they might be asking about fixing your sunglasses. Okay. So give me a nice full sentence. So what would you do if super glue were unavailable? What would you use? Okay. Give me a nice full sentence. Hans, that would also be a good question. Do you think people use super glue really often? We did answer that in the part 2 response, but it might be a follow-up question. Okay, UV says, UV, use the question, well, if the world ran out of super glue, I would use some other type of adhesive, perhaps some bubble gum, to fix, to temporarily fix my sunglasses, right? All right, with a smiley face. Yeah, I'm sure some of us are thinking of some pretty funny visual images here. Rodriguez says, I'm afraid I'm not left with any other option just to buy a new pair of sunglasses. Yeah, and again, use the question, students. So, well, in the unlikely event that super glue disappeared from the face of the planet, I would be left with no other option but to buy a new pair of sunglasses. All right, dire times, difficult situations, no super glue. Okay, so yeah, always use the question in your answer. Or you could just do what I did in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is very, very sunny, and I broke my sunglasses on the first day that I got there with my wife on a vacation a few years ago. And I did not have super glue, but I had a Band-Aid. And I used the Band-Aid to fix the bridge, the center part. It's called the bridge of the sunglasses. And it certainly looked quite funny wearing the sunglasses that way. But hey, I was already married, so I wasn't too embarrassed. Anyway, that's what I did, so I'll give you that answer. Well, in fact, this happened to me. I broke my sunglasses. I broke the bridge of my sunglasses a few years ago, and I did not have super glue in my luggage, but I did have Band-Aid. So I used that to fix them. All right. Okay, so yeah, these are all possible answers, okay? Repeat after me. So what would you do if super glue were unavailable? What would you use? Well, if the world ran out of super glue, I would use some other type of adhesive, perhaps some bubble gum, to temporarily fix my sunglasses. Well, in the unlikely event that super glue disappeared from the face of the planet, I would be left with no other option but to buy a new pair of sunglasses. Well, in fact, this happened to me. I broke the bridge of my sunglasses a few years ago, and I did not have super glue in my luggage, but I did have a Band-Aid, so I used that to fix them. And yes, it did look quite funny. My wife was somewhat embarrassed, but better that than having my eyes burned by the hot Nevada sun. All right. So, good. Now, the examiner at this point might say something like, hey, let's talk about using tools. Okay? And then they might ask you a question like, how have tools improved in the past few decades? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So, how have tools improved in the past few decades? Now, when you're giving an answer, to be nice and fluent, to have good flow, use the question like I just showed you. Give an answer, give an explanation, give an example. Okay? Indeed, Pavan, we don't just say tricky person, we say a resourceful person. So a person who finds solutions to problems is often referred to as a resourceful person. Okay, so keep that in mind. Okay, a person who is solution oriented is often referred to as a resourceful person. So solution-oriented, meaning finding solutions to problems, referred to as a resourceful person. Okay. All right. So let's see some answers to this question. We've got a few of them. Let's start with Kevin Bowie. So Kevin says, the way tools have become more advanced can be both in terms of their effectiveness and versatility, like my super glue, which affects superior adhesive forces and can be applied to various surfaces. Compared to its first prototype, certainly this has been due to frequent research and development to perfect its quality over the years, advised by customer feedback. Beautiful answer, Kevin. I agree with you, and I do agree that super glue has become much better over the years. I remember when I was a kid, there were still some problems with super glue for sure. The adhesion was temporary. It didn't work so well on every kind of surface. It was more messy. It dried out easier. The packaging wasn't as good. And these days, certainly it has become much, much better. So I think that's very perceptive of you. It's a very good answer and good connection to the part 2 response. Brilliant. Thumbs up. Kevin, well done. Yashraj, don't answer a question with a question. So Yashraj is saying, will they specify about a particular tool, as there are many kinds of tools? No, they don't need to. They will most likely just ask you in general, how have tools improved over the years? Make sure not to answer with a question. Just give the answer. So if you feel that you've understood the question, give the answer. Don't try to dig for more information. Okay. Nagame un, use the passive voice. People are the ones upgrading the tools. So tools have been upgraded. Okay, instead of tools have upgraded, tools have been upgraded. Use the passive there because humans are the agents of the action. Okay, so tools have been upgraded, and in many ways over the past few decades, they've been changed from manual to electric tools, like my electric cordless screwdriver. Besides that, they have become cheaper and safer to use. Yeah, very good. And so you have some good ideas. Just use the passive voice in that case. All right, good. Yash Singh says, I think tools have improved a lot from less variety to full toolkits. These are now available to help with many different kinds of jobs, including various electric devices that were not readily available a few decades ago. Okay. Let's see some more answers. All right. Rajveer says tools have immensely improved from the past 20 or 30 years. These days, the majority of tools have been operated automatically using electricity rather than using human force, thereby saving blood, sweat, and tears. That's an expression that you could use there, Rajveer. Saving blood, sweat, and tears, especially in this context, because using tools, we often do give blood, sweat, and tears, right? We hit ourselves with the hammer, we get a bleeding thumb, and we're sweating because we're working so hard. So blood, sweat, and tears. It's an expression meaning to save effort, okay? So yeah, I'll use some of this feedback that I'm giving you, and I'll give you an answer myself. So how have tools improved in the past few decades? Well, over the last 20 or 30 years, tools have really become much more advanced, both in their precision and versatility. Okay, precision here means accuracy, and versatility means in the way that we can use them, okay? So, as I had said, with the advancement of powerful adhesives that have needle nose application for detailed work, people can now avoid using needle and thread or other tools, thus saving blood, sweat, and tears, and having a better result overall. Okay. All right. So here I'm really pushing to combine some of the feedback that I'm giving you just so I can show you that go and flow of Band 9 that I'm talking about. So how have tools improved in the past few decades? Well, over the last 20 or 30 years, tools have really become much more advanced, both in their precision and versatility. As I had said, with the development of powerful adhesives that have needle nose application for detailed work, people can now avoid using needle and thread or other tools, thus saving blood, sweat, and tears and having a better result overall. Okay, so here I'm reflecting the question past few decades, last 20 or 30 years. Somebody might say last 20 to 30 years, but 20 or 30 is an expression that can be used. Grammar check is not recognizing that, but that's fine. In speaking, we say that 20 or 30 instead of 22, 30. Okay. Precision and versatility, that's some nice vocabulary to use in this case. Past perfect here, as I had said, making a connection to part 2. Okay. Now, because I used advanced here, you probably realize that I replaced this word with development. So you want to avoid repetition. And people can now avoid using needle and thread. Okay. So needle and thread, a little bit of repetition of needle, I can replace that as well. Pointed nose application. Needle and thread or other tools, thus saving blood, sweat, and tears. Blood, sweat, and tears is an idiomatic expression meaning a lot of effort. Okay. and having a better result overall. Okay, so that would be one example of a high band response that's natural and incorporates a lot of key elements that the examiners are looking for: natural language, complex language, coherent language, grammatical range accuracy, and of course, practicing the pronunciation is up to you. Okay. Angel, you can definitely use idioms throughout your speaking. The important point is don't force them. So don't just, like, one of my favorite ones that I find students using all the time for idioms is saying over the moon. This is way overused. And it often sounds forced, okay? In fact, we don't use this over the moon so much in my neck of the woods. So in my part of the world, on the West Coast here, we don't hear this so often. Maybe in the UK or other places, but I hear IELTS candidates using this all the time. I don't know if there's maybe like a YouTube video out there or something that someone published where they said use the words over the moon and you get another band score. But I hear it all the time, and sometimes I hear it in really awkward ways. So be really careful about that, okay? All right. Let's go to this next question here. I'm going to skip the follow-up because I feel that we have answered it, okay? So here we go. People often say that it is important to use the right tool for the job. Why is this good advice? And I'm sure many of you have heard that as well. Yeah, using Band-Aid to fix sunglasses might not be the right tool for the job because, well, it looks funny. And it wasn't very effective. Once the Band-Aid got all soft from the sun, it was a mess. But anyway, so the question one more time. People often say that it is important to use the right tool for the job. Why is this good advice? Okay, give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. All right, so Medina Madraksimova says, I firmly agree with these people because the more your tools are advanced and precise as well as versatile, the more you can manage and save your time. As a result, productivity would dramatically increase. Very good answer, Medina. Can you give me an example of using the right tool for the job or using the wrong tool and how that decreases efficiency? So give me a little bit more. Arda says, it is important to use the right tool for the job because using the right tool not only takes less time than using the wrong one, but it also helps people to do the job without mistakes. Very good, Arda, right. And of course, without injury. One of the most common ways people get injured is by using the wrong tool for the job, right? Kyber says, choosing the correct tool will decrease the amount of effort required to get the job done right without causing damage to either the equipment or the surface being worked on or the individual doing the work, right, Kyber? All right. Deepika says, I don't understand the question. Deepika, in this case, you want to try to paraphrase it. So you want to say to the examiner, so what you're saying to me is that in a situation, I should use the correct tool that is needed for that kind of work. Okay. All right. Suba says it is very important to use the right tool for the job that it's been assigned to, as it can only bring out the exact expected result. It will more likely lead to getting the job done. Suba, you have some grammatical mistakes there, so be really careful about that. Amit says it's crucial to use the appropriate item for the job so that the so that the tool maintains its original shape, and also it can reduce the cost of the work. Yeah, okay. Good. So some good answers there. Yeah, and some paraphrasing will always help. So it is definitely wise to use the right equipment for any specific task, as this will not only ensure a better end result, but it will also minimize the chance of injury and damage. Although the Band-Aid I used to fix my sunglasses worked temporarily, it did look horrible, and my wife was slightly embarrassed. So it was not the best tool for that job. Okay, answer, explain, example, and reflect and connect. Cohesion, coherence, just like in your writing, in your speaking, is exceptionally important. So you want to make those connections as much as possible. Okay, so people often say that it is important to use the right tool for the job. Why is this good advice? It is definitely wise. Okay, wise is good advice. So good advice is wisdom. It is definitely wise to use the right equipment for any specific task, as this will not only ensure a better end result, but it will also minimize the chance of injury and damage. Although the Band-Aid I used to fix my sunglasses worked temporarily, it did look horrible, and my wife was slightly embarrassed, so it was not the best tool for that job. Lesson learned. Okay, next question. Okay. What types of digital tools are used in daily office or student life to help individuals? Okay, so keep your thinking broad. Think about, what would 9 out of 10 people say? What types of digital tools are used in daily office or student life to help individuals? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Okay, Tao for the previous one. It's a good answer. Chai Coulette says calculator. All right, Chai Coulette, you have to put that into a full sentence. It's a good first idea. Calculator is one tool. Here, pay attention, it's plural, tools, right? So you need to mention at least 2, hopefully minimum 3. Nagayman says, students and people doing collared jobs have taken advantage of smart gadgets like smartphones and laptops. These items do wonders for them as information becomes more availability, hence increasing productivity. Very nice answer, Un. Okay, I did a couple of fixes, so pay attention to those. All right. Oa says, the electronic tools which have changed our activities and they save our time and energy, such as digital drill, which has multiple uses, and electronic watch, which students use for math operations. It's a bit unclear, Oa, so I'm not sure where the digital drill is coming into office and student life. An electronic watch, maybe a laptop would be a bit clearer, a bit more coherent. Ramnik says there are many devices which office goers and students use in their daily life. Laptops and mobile phones are the most significant ones. They use them to attend calls, complete projects, and write emails. Okay. Potato, good. Specifically a printer machine in this modern generation in order to print individual document or office documents is convenient. Yeah, I was wondering when somebody would come up with the printer, right? So computer is good, mobile phone is good, but let's not forget about some of the other office equipment that is out there that people use to communicate, just a simple telephone, right? And of course, printing documents, so the printer as well. All right. Natrichlorua San says students usually find convenience in using such digital tools like calculators to solve math problems and laptops or smartphones, which are portable and used for PowerPoint presentations as well as research. Very good. Hans says there are a great number of digital tools used to help individuals. Two of such are Google Drive and Microsoft PowerPoint that are used to store items and to present ideas both to colleagues and peers in offices and classrooms respectively. Hans, I made a few corrections there, and good for you, Hans, for recognizing that digital tools aren't just the hardware like laptops and smartphones, but it's also the software, right? Like PowerPoint, for example, or Photoshop. So there are both hardware and software in the digital world, which are often used in the workplace and schools to help employees and students complete their work efficiently. Ones that come to mind are computers, printers, calculators, as well as applications like PowerPoint for presentations and Google for doing research. I certainly use these tools daily to study IELTS and do my work as a software developer. Okay. All right. So here we go. What types of digital tools are used in daily office or student life to help individuals? Repeat after me. There are both hardware and software in the digital world, which are often used in the workplace and schools to help employees and students complete their work efficiently. Ones that come to mind are computers, printers, calculators, as well as applications like PowerPoint for presentations and Google for doing research. I certainly use these tools daily to study IELTS and do my work as a software developer. Obviously, I'm not a software developer, but I just came up with that. So, and if you do not give such examples, they might ask you to give more details and examples, but if you've included that, then they will go on to the next question. And if you're doing a great job in part 3, they might introduce another related category. Like they'll say something like, let's talk about repairs, because part 2 is talking about a tool that you use to fix something. So we talked about tools. Now we talk about fixing or repairing. Let's talk about repairs. Some people prefer to repair broken machinery on their own. Others like to hire a professional. Why is this difference? Okay. So not hire as in a higher place, but hire, like give them a job. So some people prefer to repair broken machinery on their own. Others like to hire a professional. Why is there this difference? Okay, so getting into some more detailed questions, checking your comprehension of English, spoken English, and your ability to produce good answers. So give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. Okay. Jazz says, this is simply because the people who fix broken stuff on their own want to be frugal, as were those who hire a professional, neither have experience nor want to put the money aside. Okay, Jazz, good. Jazz, you don't have to explain the words that you use. The examiner will understand them. So if you use the word frugal, frugal is a person who wants to save their money. You don't have to say frugal so that they save some dollars. It's self-explanatory, okay? So just use the word frugal. Also, it's a good idea to avoid the word stuff. So people who fix broken items or broken objects, okay? Stuff is very colloquial, so avoid that. It's a nice use of the word frugal, by the way. Good vocabulary, Jazz. I'll give that to students. So frugal. It's to be frugal. To behave in such a way as to save money. Okay? So, for instance, he always makes his lunch at home because he is frugal. He does not want to spend money in restaurants. Okay? So he always makes his lunch at home because he wants to be frugal. He does not want to spend money in restaurants. Okay? So that's to be frugal. Okay. Let's see some other answers. Gurswak says, well, it depends on the person's interest. Some people have the ability to repair their broken items. However, some individuals don't have knowledge, so they rely on a professional. Okay, Gurswak, it's a good start. Hun says, repairing things by hiring a professional can have better results than repairing them at home. Another way around this, it is affordable to fix items by yourself, and this also gives experience for the future. Okay? UV says, repairing things requires finesse, which can only be achieved by someone who has been doing it for a long time. Repairing complex machinery can require specific tools, and doing it at home can lead to failure. Okay? UV, I made some corrections there to express your ideas a little bit clearer. Be careful with that. Thao Nguyen says, some people would choose to fix broken machinery by themselves because it's much more affordable and also helps them gain more experience than hiring someone to fix these appliances. Okay. Okay, so obviously to save money is one reason for it, right? Mei Lee says, well, some people like to have advice and assistance from an expert in fixing items, especially when these items are precious, while others like to be a jack of all trade and give it a try. Yeah, good use of jack of all trade there, Meili. So jack of all trade is someone who has a little knowledge of many different kinds of situations fixing it. We call that a jack of all trades. So very good. Jack of all trades. Good use of that. Okay. All right. So, certain people who are the do-it-yourself type prefer to fix broken gadgets by themselves in order to save money and to gain experience for the future. However, some people do prefer to go to the experts, especially if money is not an issue and or the object is difficult to repair by just watching some YouTube videos. I'm sure many of you have done that. For instance, this was the case when I needed to fix my laptop. It was simply unrealistic to do it myself. Okay? Yeah, sometimes we watch those YouTube videos and then we're like, hey, I can do that. And I know I've had a couple of situations where I watched the YouTube video and I was like, okay, I'm just going to call an expert before I blow myself up. So, yeah, they make it look easy. Careful about that. Sometimes you type in how to fix something on YouTube and you're like, oh, that kind of looks easy. And then you start doing it and you're like, this was a bad idea. Okay, so here we go. Some people prefer to repair broken machinery on their own. Others like to hire a professional. Why is this difference? Well, certain people who are the do-it-yourself type prefer to fix broken gadgets by themselves in order to save money and to gain experience for the future. However, some people do prefer to go to the experts, especially if money is not an issue and or the object is difficult to repair by just watching some YouTube videos. For instance, this was the case when I needed to fix my laptop. It was simply unrealistic to do it myself. Okay. All right, students, so that's band 9 flow and go for the band, for that high band, for band 8, band 9. Here we have a few more questions. You can try these questions on your own. You can practice these on our websites through the Student Partner Speaking. Again, we have these amazing websites for you to help you pass your IELTS exam. There's lots of videos in HD with no ads. There's an original practice exams, an interactive course with a lot of great concepts taken from educational psychology. All you have to do is click that big red button to join the premium package on our website. This is for general. It's gieltshelp.com. And this one here at aehelp.com is for academics. So click that big red button. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access, and it really doesn't cost much, so well worth it. Thank you so much for your participation, everyone. Eugen, thank you for those fun emojis, putting a smile on my face at the end of the week here. Kyber, I'm glad you found the class useful. That's great. Keep practicing, everyone. So practice makes perfect. And improving your communication is always a good idea, not just for IELTS, but for general life skills. Have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. Stay healthy, stay strong, stay optimistic. You're all beautiful people, and you should always remember that, okay? Never let anybody get you down or tell you otherwise. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria, British Columbia, Canada. Bye for now, everyone. See you on Wednesday.